And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. We're going to be doing a hodgepodge of things. Like I said, just trying to finalize stuff for Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Festival. We're going to be working on a couple of last things to tidy up the drag racer for KB3D. We're printing some more treads over here for the KB3D Death Racer. And then we're going to try and put together the body for Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer. So a few things going on here, just trying to get ready and prep for the show. Mrs. Dragon's leaving ahead of us, so we're going to try and get some stuff done that she can just take with her when she goes out. But it also has to be stuff that's, we'll say, temperature tolerant. Because it may be sitting in the car for an extended period of time out, just out in the car. So hope everybody's having a great night and we'll get into it. So first thing is, let me do the overhead, is we've got the drag racer. And as you can see, it's pretty much the entire length of the bench. It's actually sitting over here on top of a couple of things. What's the wheel sitting on? I don't know. It's sitting on a couple of things over here. What we have left to do here is not a lot. I need to add some additional screws into the big wheels, and we still need to put the screw in the front servo. And beyond that, I think we're done with this. Now the thing is, with the front servo screw, I don't think this is the right one, or this is the right screw. So I need to try and double check to see if I've got a spare servo screw around here. I think I have a bunch of actual spare servos, so. Those look too big. Those are servos. Okay, I'll have to keep looking for the servo screws later. I did order some more M3 by 50 millimeter screws. So those came in. We'll be able to go ahead and finish getting all of them into the wheels here. And you'll notice that I did pull the K1 back behind me again. The K1C, I should say. Now that we've got a few things squared away up here, I'm going to try and leave it over there for now, just because if I have it over here, it's starting to get in the way now with everything that we're doing over here now. So once again, I'm just going to go ahead and get the last few screws in here. And like I said, I hope everyone's doing well this evening. The only downside to doing these with M3 by 50s is it takes forever. Especially when you get through the first piece and it doesn't bite into the second piece. I think that one started. Hey, G. Palmer, how's it going? Yes, I do have an electric screwdriver over there, but I need to get it started a little bit first. Otherwise, so I'm going through 3 different printed parts, and if I don't push down and get it started in that second part, when I grab the electric screwdriver and start using it, it'll just sit there and bore a hole and basically get rid of any threads that I was creating. Because once again, we are cutting threads as we do this. Hey Eagle, how's it going? And if I remember right, it is this one. Yep. Come on. And that's the other thing I was worried about. Oh, actually dead now. Let me charge that up, since I thought I had it fully charged and it's not. So we're back to doing it by hand. Awesome. Yeah, how's it going, Palmer? Hope you're doing well today. I might have to put this down and play angles here. Doing good? Good. So will you be going to Rocky Mountain RepRap Fest? No? I don't know where in the world you are, so I don't know if it's even a feasible trip or if you're out of the country. But it's going to be fun, I think. They've got over 4,000 people signed up, and I think you're in Texas? Okay. Yeah, I think I keep saying we're. I think that the show's going to break its record from last year as far as attendance, so that's going to be nice. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to sustain that, though, with the current environment going on, but hopefully we can keep things going. I think what I need is a driver that'll actually fit in my drill. I guess I can put that driver in there. Let's see if we can do that. Take this driver and see if it'll go in the drill. At least get me a lot closer. Oh yeah, that's nice. All right, this will go faster. Yeah, I think there were some people that were contemplating like trying to get another show going in Texas or somewhere in the South. I know that's the problem, is everybody wants to go to some shows, but it's just trying to get shows where people are at, where it makes sense for people to make the shows. Turn this around. And I'll do the 4 over on this side now. I was chatting with some people in another stream, hey Waters, and I was like, ooh, I need to go ahead and do my hotel for Murph as well. Normally we wait until after Rocky Mountain to book it, but Rocky Mountain is normally in April, not May, so I might need to book the hotel for the next show now. All right. So good call there, G. Palmer. How's it going, Waters? Listening while you're out shopping. Uh-oh. Is this the fabled drag racer? This is the drag racer. This is a drag racer for KB3D. This is a spare chassis that's being printed that's in the Polymaker Fiberon that you may see at your store after Rocky Mountain. Because Bev wanted some prints in that Fiberon, the Polymaker Fiberon, and I was like, okay. So the tires are a mixture of materials. The main hubs, I'll leave that out, so that's an indicator for me. So these wheels, the main hubs here are the Fiberon PETG recycled carbon fiber 8% with Tech TPU 85A, basically rubber band sleeves on them. This is TPE, and I'm still trying to pick some of the things off. After 4 failed attempts, I finally got it to run, which is great because 4 failed attempts on a 14-hour print, you know, is always great. I'm printing a second one of these now for my drag racer. This, the front wheels here and this front wing are TPU 95 from Polymaker. The orange is Polymaker PETG, standard PETG. And like I said, the entire frame under these orange panels is Polymaker PETG carbon fiber. So, and that's pretty much all we can do on this. Like I said, I need to put the front screw in for the servo, and unfortunately, I am not seeing the servo screw sitting right here, so I've got to find a spare servo screw that I can put in there. And we'll get that put in. And then that's the last thing that needs to happen for this, other than plugging in the remote control and getting the remote control set up. So we'll do that off stream. And real fast, let me sort some screws out here. I think majority of these are 12 and then a couple of 16s. Of course, why would I have them all the same size? That one's the same. Oh, nope, those are the same. Good, good. So this is from the old chassis that I took apart, which was standard PLA. And I decided to reprint the entire chassis frame last minute because, you know, why not? Why not rebuild a chassis right before a show? One of those things, well, and that's the funny thing is it's not that it's incredibly difficult. It's just semi-incredibly difficult. So I'm printing 2 treads at the same time here. I'm basically doing copy mode, so I can do one in black and one in orange because I need 2 sets of tread colors. So the treads for KB3D are going to be like this. And you'll notice that the orange is printing beautifully smooth and the black not so much. Exact same G-code file, exact same temperature. Both filaments have been dried the same amount of time, if not longer. The black has gone through 24 hours of drying. The orange went through 12 hours. And the black is still printing rougher for whatever reason. I have completely pushed and purged the nozzle. So I don't know why the black is still printing rougher. And I even tried 2 different spools of the black TPU. Well, that was fun. I have 0 idea of how many parts I just dropped on the floor. And or where they might have went. Great, we'll find out. So what we're going to do now is work on Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer some. We obviously had at least one part on here that did not come out right because I'm pretty sure the part was not supposed to look like that. But this is the entire body for the Death Racer. And we'll have to see what we've got and what parts I need to replace. And then I'll print those out. I decided to do the body just in this light brown. The main part of the body, and I'll show you what I mean by the main part of the body. So in our particular Death Racer, the base is all black to include the wheel, or yeah, the wheel and motor mounts here. The whole bottom is black. And then we have a custom front nose and a custom rear section that is a one-off design for Mrs. Dragon. And I am literally painting it by hand. So what we're going to work on now is building her the body of her driver, which we did in light brown because the head of the driver is going to be a bald eagle. So it may just be in the light brown right now, and we'll have to work to change the color later. Actually, let me do that and bring this down here. There we go. Yeah, so we'll build the driver next because this part right here is going to be really weird. Like I said, the whole front design nose piece is different in one piece. I still need to print the servo bracket so that we can put it in there. And these 3 pieces for the console have been printed. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to, or how I'm going to paint those because they were done in gray. This whole bludger tower, I think, is different. I'm just going to print the bludger end itself. Once again, it's a one-off design that Evil Diesel did for me. And then this whole rear section is completely different. So we're going to come over here and start working on our driver or rider. And we're going to need to grab some things out of the kit. Ugh. And by the way, here is our actual, whoa. Yes, I am. Way zoom. Oh, not too much. Yeah. here is the actual base for the model. Once again, we've got the sides and everything here is done up in black. We're going to have some panels that cover this up that I've got to do. They're going to be multicolor, so I've got to get those ready and sliced up and get those going as well. We're probably going to be assembling this, and it may not be fully painted by the show, but we'll get there. We will get there. Hey, Additive Adam, how's it going? And for those of you that are following along, I'm not doing any maker chips. I have what I have from last year. I'm not doing any more. It's just the way it's going to be. Because if I try to do maker chips right now, I'm going to be completely stressed out. All right. So this, once again, is the Big Tree Tech kit that we're using to build our Death Racer. We'll have the controller for it. I'm not even going to worry about unboxing this just yet. We're not going to get there, but I do have the rest of the stuff pulled out of the box that we can work on, because we're going to have to grab some pieces out of there today. And one of the first things we're going to need, speed controller, no, there we go. We're going to need this guy, which is our switch. This is the kill switch. So we'll need the kill switch. That's servo stuff. Servo stuff. I think these are the servos for the arms. Servo wire. Other wire. This is the bigger servo, the 25 kilogram servo for the top. And all the screws. Are we supposed to be providing wire for this? I mean, I think so. They said they use 14 gauge wire, and I am not seeing any wire, darn sure not 14 gauge. That's the only wire, and I don't even think that's going to be long enough to get down into the body. So it looks like we're going to have to come up with some wire for this guy. Don't think I have 14 gauge. I think I only have 15 gauge. And you can either solder onto the edge of these, or they've got screws, so you can screw it down, and then they suggest doing heat shrink over it to make sure that it's a good connection. And I would use like fork or ring terminals anyhow to make sure it's not coming off. Hey Rob, how's it going? We are working on our Death Racer. Well, the Death Racer for Mrs. Dragon. And I was just looking to see, unless there's 14 gauge wire in here, which there actually might be. We've been working on a couple of different things. So we've got, yeah, no, that's just straight ESC. So yeah, we're gonna have to grab some 14 gauge wiring if I can find some. We're working on the KB3D drag racer, and that's pretty much done. I just need to install one servo screw. And then we're working on my wife's Death Racer. So that's going to happen next. We're going to build its rider. I've got TPU treads printing over here for KB3D's Death Racer. We're going with black and orange, and we're going to interleave them. We were going to do something else. It didn't work out as planned. So, but here's the KB3D drag racer. So this is pretty long, right? It basically sits end to end on my table, and actually the wing sits off the front table of the table. The whole frame structure and the inner wheels, the uprights, are Fiberon PETG recycled carbon fiber 8%. The top rear wing is TPE, so it is flexible. The wheels, the actual tire material is Creality 85A. The front steering wheels and the front wing are TPU 95A. There's a little bit of give to it, but not a whole lot. And then this is how we're doing the treads for the KB3D Death Racer to keep the orange and black theme. I have an idea for this to make another one that's a little bit more custom, but that's going to have to come a little bit later. Con Crunch is here, and I've got 3 shows this season that we can continue to improve and iterate on these designs, which we will, because that's what we do. How's it going, Ash? Long time no see. Chewy's back. Welcome in. Hey, Zombie. Hey, Liz. How's it going? And Glendon, what's up? What's up? So, like I said, I need to go find my large gauge wire. See what I have over here in the box. Besides everything falling off the box. Spare power supplies, fork connectors, I might need those. Done and done. Found something that will definitely work out. All right, Zombie, I got a question for you. Do you have a collection of power supplies, like just spare power supplies from working on 3D printers or modifying your 3D printers? Or is it just me and I've got yet another weird issue? Yes? Okay, good. It's not just me. So this is wire that came with the VZBot. No, VZBot? No. Yes, VZBot kit. So we're just going to use this for our wire, for our driver, because it should be perfectly fine for a kill switch on our driver. Since this was mains power wire for that printer, it should be perfectly fine. Does it say how much we need? $150 millimeters of 14 gauge wire. I mean, 14 gauge wire is kind of massive. I don't know why we would need 14 gauge. $150 doesn't look like much, but okay. I'll go a little bit further than 150 just to be on the safe side because I know myself. Oh, and Rob, I did get in the whatchamacallit. I did get in my longer screws. I ordered some longer screws so that I could stretch that existing belt out just a tiny bit more because I do have a little bit more space. I'm just out of screw length, right? And then because it makes sense to buy more than just 2, I may have bought enough and a few extra rails so that I could build a second baby belt. So Yeah, that'll be a thing. We'll get another second, or we'll get a second Baby Belt Pro going. The only thing I'm going to have to do is find the XY motors. I believe. Maybe some pulleys. But you've got several as well, Chewy? Yep. You have a bin of wires and cables and power supply. Oh yeah, I've got a couple of different boxes of wire, and every once in a while I just take a bunch and throw it away. Because it's like, okay, I haven't used this in forever, we're just gonna throw it away and move on. So what I want to do here is strip back a little bit, and I'm just gonna put a connector on it. I should be able to do just a ring terminal, which will be better than a fork connector actually. And that will give us a good connection that's not going to come off, provided I have ring terminals. I thought I had red ring terminals. Fork terminals, ring terminals, ring terminals. Nope. 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 All right, so fork terminals, it looks like it's going to be. Make sure that these will fit on here. You need to do a throw it all the way? Yeah. Oh yeah, those will fit on nice. And they'll, when you get them on there, they'll kind of latch in there. I'll show you what I mean. So that will work nicely. Tidy up that end. So once again, we got a couple of new merch items. So feel free to go out and check out the merch store and see some of the new merch items that we got out there. I know Zombie and I believe it was Chewy grabbed one already, so thank you. Grabbed one of the new shirts. I kind of like that. I hope you guys like that too. I kind of like that because it plays on one of those comments that we have on stream about coffee and lube streams on Saturday mornings. Me and Modlight were working on some cool little design sayings and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll see some more in the near future. All right, so we got those, and which side is which? Switching red, so that means the on, well, doesn't matter, we're switching red, so I don't know why I did a blue and a red. I should have did two reds, because we're actually switching the red side power. So let me just grab another length of red. We'll put the blue over to the side. It'll be the, we'll say it's going to be the next power wire that I need for a power switch. Hey, Kit Skyfire, welcome on in. Welcome on in. And then what I see there from Zombie, you finally got approval to build the Cyber Brick truck for RMRRF on stream 1 week before the event, of course. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes, right? Like, I got some stuff in the mail, like literally today, and I couldn't wait. I opened it up and I looked at it, and of course I can't show anybody. And if I take one to Rocky Mountain, I have to basically cover up. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to take it to Rocky Mountain. I'm not going to put it on, any of my printers just yet. I mean, I know which printer I'm going to put it on. So, but yeah, we'll have something cool to show off here shortly. Okay, so I would have preferred to put ring terminals on here. However, with the way this fits, that fork connector right there, come on. There's these two little tabs on each side. So with the fork compressor or the fork connector compressed by the screw, it cannot pull out. Even if this starts to back off, it can't pull out unless it's got enough room to come up and over these little tabs on the side. Really wish this thing would focus, right? So that's actually not, doing screws like that is actually pretty good. Okay, so we have it push forward on the on side. So this is push forward, this is on over here. I'm not going to worry about doing any shrink tubing on this because we didn't use bare wire. If I had used bare wire, might be something different, but since we used a fork connector, we should be good. I don't think we're going to have a problem with anything coming loose. We'll set these off to the side. We're going to grab the middle body part here, and apparently this gets wiggled into the center. A twist. How are we wiggling this? How do we wiggle, shimmy, shake this? You got any suggestions, Zombie? Can we get this to sort of sit in the middle? No. Luck? Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. A little bit of bend and give there. Not a whole lot. Are we going to have to push the tabs in some? A little bit. Oh. I'm going to get mad at myself because I didn't bother to take the locking ring off. And I'm probably going to need to do that. All right. Locking ring off. Just put in. Come on. Get in there without breaking, please. There we go. Wiggle, wiggle, shimmy, shake. And of course, I left the one locking screw on there. And looking at it, it looks like I needed to take that off as well. So let's do this one more time and see if we can break our part while we're trying to get this back out. On the angled side, make sure it's the right way too first. On the yes, so this is the rounded front edge. I actually have it in the off position, but that's the on position towards the front. So if the head pops off, it's going to push this to the back side and off. But I now need to take it off and get the other locking ring out. Bend one of the pins, yeah. Heat it up with a soldering iron, it'll go in. Haha. So the issue I'm having is really just fighting the threads. Like it'd be great if I could just pull the threads out, but common sense would also say, you know, just give it a quick hit with a reamer of the appropriate size and boom, it'll go in a lot easier, I'm sure. Down here. Here we go. So used to a locking clip on each or a locking washer on each side, but I think they took that off for a reason. There we go. One more time. Continuity check? You want me to continuity check between the switch? Will you get started? Thank you. Once again, the switch in the on position is towards the rounded front chest side of the driver. Try and get the locking ring in. For grins, we'll put the washer and the other locking ring in just so in case I need them for something else down the road or I use a switch somewhere else, I'll have all the hardware to it. Okay. So there we go. Part one done. Only took us a while. Ridges on the side pieces left and right to help hold the rider in position on the seat. For ease of assembly, slide the hip into position before fixing the body together with bolts. Slide the hip in position. Do that. Here, properties. I'll at least get this up down here so you can see what I'm working on. Hip. Looks like this would be the hip. Slide this on before doing the side pieces, eh? Okay. Wires will be a tight fit through the hip and the terminals will need to be bent in slightly for everything to fit. Make sure that when the on position is positioned correctly, reference the picture to the right. Header of the rider is knocked backward and falls off. The switch is flipped to the off position. Now we're going to take our left and right side and we're going to attach these with an M38 and an M320 countersunk on each side. We need to make sure that these go on the appropriate side, even though they're not marked. I should be able to slide that on. I'm going to take my chances. M3x8 is the back, M3x20 is the front. 220s, 2.8s. Once again, the 20 is at the front of the body. We're going to be screwing this into the plastic. I'm just going to go ahead and get the front one started in the plastic, but not take it all the way in, so I can make sure and get the rear lined up. Hey, PETG-rCF08, how's it going? You'll notice there's no accent pieces. That's because, once again, the theme of this rider is going to be basically like an individual with a bald eagle head. And I still need to finish painting the head so that it looks like a bald eagle. And then we will throw the head on here as well. That's why I'm making it all brown, light brown. And also we may wind up clothing it somehow. If we can get what I have in mind, we'll do that as well. I just realized that front body part kind of warped off the bed a little bit. We'll see if that, I don't think it should cause a problem, but we'll see. We'll see, we should be good. Secure the hip with M3x25 countersunk bolt. Looks like we got another M3x8 down at the bottom here to hold this together. Almost missed those. That'll hold these tabs in there. I'll have to see how that looks, and if it looks a little wonky, I'll go ahead and reprint that off stream later. Hey, Tugboat, how's it going? Secure the hip with an M3x25. So we need to go ahead and get our hip going on here again. And our hip swings up here. Up and over those. This comes in the front. Like that. Where's my hole for that to look? Still need to go up further. Does this Yes, it does. And that's where I may have an issue. So I'm going to have to, because this piece kind of warped up, I'm going to have to file down a little bit to get that back to flat. How's it going, Tugboat? You guys got finals coming up, right? Doing good. Doing good. Had a new guy start work yesterday, so that was always nice. I went in to help him. His laptop and stuff wasn't working, so we went in and I helped him get his laptop and stuff squared away. And of course, trying to get out of the truck, I dumped like half a cup of coffee on myself, which was fabulous. That was absolutely fabulous. Now let's see if that helps the fitment. Right, yes. Oh, really? A little bit more on the back here. I gotta be careful of these wires. So this is me trying to make do without having to reprint the part just yet. May just lead me to some other issues that I have to deal with, but for now we'll see if we can get around it just doing it this way. Partly because I want to keep making progress. And I don't think this part of the rider is very visible anyhow, if I remember right. Works. Okay, we need an M3 by, it says 25. See what we got there. Sorry, it got eerily quiet. Took the AP test yesterday. Which AP test? It's going and doesn't want to stop. I know that. Four hours of pain and suffering. Yep. European history. Oh, good Lord. Like, that just hurt. Okay, so secure the hip with an M325. Oh, through the thigh. There we go. And these are the thigh pieces. So I believe they're going to be basically well, they're sort of the same. Make sure that the knee knuckle goes down. You'll notice this area right here. Let me go full screen. So this area right down here, thigh comes across and there's that little knuckle pinch at the bottom. So this is the top edge. This little knuckle pinch down here is the bottom side of the knee. So there is a direction or a side to these parts. They really need to put like an L or something on here. And these are going to be M3 by 25. And one from each side, apparently. And it's going to go into that hip piece and then through the hip piece into the main body piece. We get that lined up on the hip piece first. Now I'm going to have to apply a gentle amount of pressure. Make sure that I line up the hole on the main body piece as well. And I'm assuming that we don't want it like real loose, but we don't want it like locked down tight either. Mrs. Dragon. So I want you to know, Tugboat, right, is sitting here.
Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado. He had his 4 hours of pain and suffering known as his AP European History test.
That's to you.
Yeah, that title right there just made pain and suffering for me. I did AP Calculus, and yeah, no AP European History. Yeah. Yeah, calculus was bad enough, and then I remember doing like my CISSP test, which was a 6-hour time limit test, and I don't remember driving home from that test. I mean, that was the extent of that one. I just do not remember driving home. So, what about kind Franz? Or King even? Congrats on completing the test, though. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, so Spartan, how's it going? Mrs. Dragon snuck in here with some Dunkin' coffee. This is Dunkin' run number 2. So I made the comment of yesterday. I had just gotten to work and was grabbing my coffee mug and getting out of the truck, and I hit the steering wheel and knocked the coffee cup out of my hand, and it went right between my legs on the seat and started just draining. So yeah, everything down here was soaked as I'm going to meet a new guy for the first time at the office. And yeah, so Tuesday was just, or Monday was a mess. Monday was a Monday for all Mondays. Today started off with Mrs. Dragon running out and getting some prescriptions and coming back with Dunkin', both coffee and munchkins, and a UPS package that I can't tell anybody about, but a UPS package that I've been waiting and dying for. So yesterday sucked. Today was a good redemption day. Monday was a mess and a half. Yeah. Now it's time to lock on some chemistry. Oh, God. The ISSP is a health hazard. Yeah. Like I said, that was a 6-hour test. I passed it on the first try. This was years ago when I was still in Germany, and the best thing I can say about that test is I love the fact that I could proctor that test now and then watch other people suffer through it. Like that's the highlight now. Okay, this one, it looks like the kind of joint piece here where it makes that little V notch goes up into the other joint on the leg here. So that, yeah, so that one goes over on this side. And we'll have the kneecap piece that'll cover everything up kind of like that. Okay. All right. Takes a little bit of massaging to get things in place. This is at the bottom thicker. That that helps get the right kneecap and it'll line up better. This is the M3 by 20. Through the kneecap into the thigh joint. Through the kneecap into the thigh joint. So that just starts to poke out, like because of the angle, it's just starting to poke out there. So the other side, we're going to have our other knee joint and our other kneecap. That'll sit on there. And the way this sits on, if you got it right, this just loops over the side. There's the way it sits in that pocket. It's actually very well modeled. So it lines up only one way. Let's not talk about organic chem. Yeah. Sadly, CISSP hasn't really done much to help the industry improve. We now have a bunch of people who can say, you probably shouldn't do that, or then ignored by leadership. Well, and that's, yeah. So I will give you that. Like I said, I took the CISSP when I was in Germany, so that would have been 2000. God, when was that? 2007. And I will tell you, I just let it expire. For kind of that same reason. I had it and still nobody listened to me. You know, I've got my CISSP, I've got my CCISO cert. Nobody listens, so what's the point? I've got a master's degree as well in cybersecurity, so I'll be taking physics, and that will be the extent of my scientific career. Yeah, ex-wife took that, and it was the worst summer ever. See, I did trig and analyt over the summer, so that I could get into AP Calculus my senior year. And everybody told me I was crazy for doing trig and analytic over the summer. It was one of the best classes I ever had. Looks like we're going to put our feet on now. Maybe. Feet. Oofda. And these are not symmetrical. Rock on. Crud. Okay, that works. So they've got the hint of a circle there on these, and they should line up with the part. And I think, well, they kind of line up very good on both sides, but the hole will only go in one way. So when you kind of line the feet up so that they're even Steven, the hole is only going to align one way. So I'm going to, I can't really show you that, but it's not going straight up and down. It is at a bit of an angle. M3 by 16s are these. It goes in at a slight angle, and it will only go in one way because of that angle. It's just not very intuitive. They really, really, really need to put like a L or an R on here to designate left or right. You're in Algebra 2 trig now. Okay. Yeah, when I went through, it was algebra. Was it algebra, geometry, algebra 2, trig and analytic geometry, and then calculus. And I did algebra my freshman year, geometry over summer school, algebra 2 my sophomore year. Is that how I did it? I thought no, maybe not. Maybe it was something else I took one of the summer schools. It was algebra, geometry, algebra 2, trig and analytic over summer school, AP calculus senior year. Yeah, I don't know. You dropped out of college, went into computer and networking support, testing, security, and have been testing security for about 30 years. There you go. Yeah, like I said, I had about 7 industry certs. I had CAP, which is now GRC, CISSP, Security Plus, CISO, so Certified Chief Information Security Officer, CEH, CHFI, ITIL, and yeah, people are listening to me now over at Cisco, but when I was in the DoD, they didn't care. They were like, oh, you got the cert? Okay, great. And then all the developers ignored me. If you see me with a clipboard at RMRRF, I swear I'm not analyzing tables, just doing some studying. Okay. Need to clutch up to do some calculus next year. Oofda. Yeah. We go Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Trig, Pre-Calc, and Calc AB or College Algebra. Then AP Stats. Ugh. Ugh. I tell you what, 2 classes never, ever, ever take at the same time. And that was, what was it? Economics and accounting. Don't ever take those 2 classes at the same time. You can take them back to back. Don't take them at the same time because they use a lot of the same terms, but they're different meanings to the terms. That was a headache and a half. You changed your major just because you hated economics so much. Hey, Britt, how's it going, nerd? How you doing? Hey, Tim, how's it going? Bit the bullet and bought a P1S. I hope you like it. I mean, I love my X1Cs. I think the P1S is kind of the sweet spot. But I love my X1Cs, and I'll tell you what, right now, people are asking about the Anycubic Cobra S1. It's downstairs, and if you give me half a second, or if Mrs. Dragon's actually listening, I'll have her bring up a couple of things that we've been printing off on it. One of them is just a single color. And then the other one that we just started are multicolor, but they're small multicolors. And we're going to do some of the small ones, and then we're going to make them bigger. And you'll see them if you're at Rocky Mountain. I think Mrs. Dragon's going to be handing them out as kind of her little thing. So when I do, the other thing I want to say is when I do the treads, you can do these as full plates. However, I find that when I do them as singles, like this is, once again, printing really, really clean. The black, not so much. This black has been cooked for 24 hours and it's same temperature and everything. I don't know why. And it happened to two different spools. This is Polymaker TPU 95A, and two spools in a row that it doesn't matter how long I cook it, it's giving me that rough surface, and I don't know why. I do not know why, but those treads are going together well, or printing well. But if she doesn't come up here and bring them up here in a little bit, I'll go down and grab a couple. But the Anycubic's working great. It print go, print go, print go, and it just keeps going. Not really listen and do their own thing. Yeah, economics is social studies too. That is true. That is true. Which is hilarious because I've never met an economist who understood other people at all. Yes, exactly. You gave up on co-print. Okay, that's going to be interesting because I may have a co-print to play with. Echovate 3D may have a co-print come in, and I think she's asking me to install it on a printer and do some content for it at the shop, and they're going to see if they're going to actually carry it or not. The thing to me is you've got you're going to have a separate extruder for each lane and all the wiring going to that extruder. You have to replace whatever tool head with their tool head, and you still have to deal with buffer and spool all on yourself. Right? They don't have that part. The part that I do like is they have a Marlin version and they have a Clipper version, and it's just a separate pad that gets plugged in, so you really don't have to change anything. But yeah, I got to get my hands on it and play with it a little bit. But here's our guy so far. Here's our little rock'em sock'em robot guy. Now we get to do the arms. Grab me some of those prints we were doing, some of your flowers and dragonflies. It looks like it was the shoulder that popped off and didn't finish. I apparently did, oh no, those look like a type of spacer that I haven't seen yet. Those might be the ears for the head. Okay. Don't need that. I don't think I'm going to need that. Shoulder that popped off the print surface will have got a shoulder. I've got an arm. The good thing is this looks like it's Oh, dang it. It's not dual-sided, so I got to figure out which arm goes where. Ooh, okay.
That's right.
So we've been printing. This is Polymaker Gradient Luminous Rainbow. And we were printing 4 of these at a time on the plate, and every single one, I mean, that's the plate texture side right there, has very little bit of texture to it. Top surface is coming out really nice as well. This is one of the cookie CADs. I can't tell you which one, but it's a nice sparkly cookie CAD. And then Evil Diesel designed these up for her, and they're little dragonflies. And this is pretty small. She wanted it as a necklace, but this is really, really too small. So she might take some of these and put them on like hair barrettes and hand them out at the show. And now I'm going to take these and I'm going to like double the size and print some of those out and see if that works better for her attempt at a necklace. But this is Polymaker. I believe this is Draft, like black Draft, PLA with, once again, the cookie CAD, one of the cookie CAD filaments that I grabbed. So yeah, these are for Mrs. Dragon. She's been wanting some of those. So if you give me half a second, I'm going to jump back over here. Not clone. Scale. %. Right click, fill bed. Slice. Remote print. Aren't printing tools awesome now? Oh yes, definitely bring Miss Dragon some stickers this year. Oh wait, I do have both. Oh, what am I thinking of? Darn it, I do have both shoulders. And the shoulders are, so the shoulders are slightly different. So there is some type of angle set to them, which once again, it not very obvious how that set goes. It looks like this piece with the straight bottom is the lower part, so the elbow. So does this fit in this way and line up? Not really. So it looks like there is a bit of a cant to these. There we go. So this one goes on nice and easy, where if we try and put it in the other way, it doesn't go on straight in any way, shape, or form. So this one goes in here. Means this one will go in here. Maybe. Oh, put it in there, right? And it will. Oh. And these are M3 by 20s. Obviously be his right arm. Okay. Fairly tight, but he can still move around, so that's kind of where we want him. Do the same thing on the other side with the other arm. Do we knock them over? Hey, 3D Medic Vince, how's it going? Oh yeah, that's basically me. That is basically me. I get to play with all the cool printers. So the folks at Ecovate, so Waters, if he's in here, Clover, Alex, and all them, they perform the authorized service provider function. So they're repairing the bamboos, the prusas, because they're authorized resellers and maintenance techs for bamboo, prusa. I think they're going to start carrying the Elegoo Centauri carbon as well. And they do, you know, Creality, Anycubic, stuff like that that comes in. And then I get to help with the more esoteric stuff like the Optimus P1, the Raise 3D that came in. Anything that are builds like Vorons and stuff like that. That'll be me because that's more of what I'm known for. And then what am I thinking of? Yeah, things like co-print. It's almost like I know what she wants me to do, and that's basically become the resident content creator. So I get to do the dirty custom printer stuff. Yep, that's basically where we're at. Okay. All right, so that's why I've got two. So there's one with flats on both sides, right? So it's flat on both sides. And then the other one has the concave on one side and flat on the other. So this is the outer side where we're putting our screw through. This is M3 by 8. We need M3 by 16, which is these guys. And we're going to go through the outer, through this side, and then into our grip hand. In there, in here. Probably should have put these together, then put it on the then put this guy on. Come on now. Yeah, it'll be a pretty cool deal. It'll be a pretty cool deal. Why are we not lining up? Okay. Once again, these are going to be moving around some because these will have to latch on or get on the control sticks. So other screw, elbow joint. For this elbow joint. This elbow joint. And that piece. Well, that's great. I think that was an M3 by 12 and the M3 by 16 side, so. Yeah, it gives me a chance to play with cool new stuff. And it also gives me a place. Beverly, who's the store owner, refers to it as husband daycare. So it's the place the husbands can go and play with cool tech and not bring it home. Except I keep bringing it home. Hey, Hutch's Makerspace, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. We are building our Death Racer dude driver for Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer. We chose light brown because of the theme that we're kind of going with. It's going to be a weird theme, but it's all good. It's pulling together multiple aspects. So we're going to have the base is going to be a dragonfly front end, and the rear tower is a upturned flower pot with the roots coming out going around the seat of the driver, okay? And then the head of our driver is going to be a bald eagle to signify her brother, Eagle the Dragon. So that's where our head's going to pop in, and I have the head downstairs along with everything else because I'm literally hand painting it. Please don't make fun of my painting when you see this. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. The head should snap onto the body with the toggle switch as the only thing holding it in place. It should be tight enough that it won't fall off while driving around, but it should come off easily enough when it's whacked. Print your head lighter so it won't fall. Print your head lighter so it won't fall off too easily. I don't get that. Okay. Feed the wires attached to the rider's toggle switch through the center hole in the seat. Push the rider down into the seat until it clicks. So its bum has tabs on it that will click into the seat portion and hold it in place. We're not going to put him on there just yet because I got to finish painting the stuff that's going to ride on top here. I think these three pieces here are actually for, yeah, this isn't, I know these two are accent pieces for the driver's head. I don't know what this piece is. If anybody has a clue, this little piece that looks like a clip, if you know what that is for, please let me know. These don't need because I have a different custom head. Hand painting, yeah, it was the only way. If I tried to do that and paint it, one, it's not gonna look as good as like dirt, number one. So terracotta pot, you know, okay, I could have used whatever color I wanted, but I mean, we normally use like the terracotta type pots. And with the dirt and this, that, and everything else, it would really have to have been so many colors on it with all the changes and everything that it probably would have took a day and a half to print. All right, cool, tugboat. So yeah, I'm trying to paint it. I can go down and grab it and bring it up here and show it off if you guys really want to see it. Bum, 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 bum. Now I think I can get in here and do some of the electronic stuff. Wiring diagram is available at the end of the guide. It may be beneficial to look it over before starting the wiring process. You can jump to it here. We are on page 38. Okay, so here is our wiring diagram. We'll go full display. I have a feeling that somebody is downstairs listening now.
Brother.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Wanted
Got
to make
these
sure I
two
brought you the
pieces.
other things.
Okay. Thank you. All righty. So we'll come back and look at the wiring diagram in a second. Which way does this go? I think it goes this way. So here is the rear seat portion. We've got the seat painted black. I'm trying to do some, like I said, some terracotta weathered look on here. I still need to do the actual rim of the pot. Since it's broken, we're going to have some root colored stuff coming down into the roots on each side. That'll go there. Here's the front, which is going to be a dragonfly. So I'm going to spray paint this all black and then come back in and start painting the colors for the dragonfly snout and stuff. And that goes here. Is lined up. Our rider, of course, is going to sit down on top here. We'll have the console pieces. And our rider's head, go ahead and see if this works and fits. Yes, it does. Is going to be a bald eagle. So I've already started trying to paint his beak and this little, I don't even know what this stuff is, like cartilage bone stuff. And then I've got to get a good reference photo to do the rest of the head. But it's going to be a lighter brown than a dark brown like a bald eagle normally would be. Yeah, Miss Dragon's on the case. And Evil Diesel did this head, so and the head does pop off. So, yep. Started painting this some on Sunday. Oh, I need to do some touch-ups too. Oh well. Put that there. Yeah, we're going to keep going. And I don't think I need to paint the top here because I think there's something else that goes on top here. I need to get with Evil Diesel and find that out. But yes, I just have to sit down and break out the paints and paint a little bit each night. Maybe I'll start painting my miniatures again since we haven't been doing it on Sundays down at the game store. Okay, let's go back over here to the full display. And here we go. So we've got the head toggle switch goes between the positive of the battery and the speed controller. The negative goes from the battery to the negative of the speed controller. Then we'll have the two blue and white that go to the motors, left and right. WRB output to the steering servos. Yellow to another speed controller for the Fly Sky receiver. Or no, from the speed controller to the Fly Sky receiver. And we're not going to have the weapon servo, and I don't have the fan installed because with the fan installed, the front snout doesn't go in unless I can figure out a way of mounting the fan in here with like some VHB tape or something. But I can't mount it at the front where it goes. Otherwise, this won't slot in appropriately. So, yeah, that's a thing there. Yep. Okay. I think we understand now. I'm going to scroll up. And we're going to start the wiring process by cutting the red and black wires. And the yellow XT60 connector about halfway back to the speed control. Okay. So this is that speed controller piece that we looked at before. So we've got our 2 yellow and blues. These are going to go out to our motors. And then here's our black and red. It says to cut this about halfway. About halfway. What do you think? About there? That looks about right. No going back now. XT60 cutoff. Following step, you can either solder the wires together or use the Wago style quick connectors that do not require any soldering where a connect is referenced. Okay, they gave us some of these. So we'll use these inlines. I actually have some other Wago inlines that might actually be like smaller, quote, smaller / thinner than these. So that might be a good thing to do. Take one wire from the toggle switch and connect it to the severed red wire on the speed controller. Take one wire from the butt of the driver take one wire from the toggle switch and connect it to the severed red wire on the speed control. The toggle switch to speed control. The other wire from the toggle switch to the red wire attached to the cut off XT60 connector. Okay, that makes sense. And connect the black 14 gauge wire between the black severed wire on the speed controller and the black wire on the cutoff XT60 connector. Or we could have not cut the black wire at all, and or is that a case of we just have yeah, I'm just thinking we didn't need to cut one of those, but oh well. Hey, we got a rubber ducky. Hey Steve, how's it going? Hey Wick, how's it going? Sorry, I'm just kind of looking around and seeing what I've got in here. So I only have 2, and it kind of feels like they called out at least 3 spaces where we need to connect wires. And this is funny. So there's these 2 inline connectors here that look to be red and black. There's a standard Wago right there. All right, so we've got those. Let me grab something else over here. We'll grab these. So these are good to 18 to 20. Should work. Just 18 or 16. Well, that's 14. We're going to have to use the other ones on that. What's that? I don't know. Figure it out. Bum, 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 bum. I love that they're telling us to use 14 gauge wire. And they didn't provide any wire in the kit. All right, so one from here. And this side is going to go to our dude. Our dude. The black is going to go straight to the black using some 14 gauge, which I don't have 14 gauge, so I'm going to have to go get some. That's going to go to our driver. Going to go to that connector through another one of these. So these guys are going to be the power side. And we'll connect to the 2 legs coming out of the rider. The black wire, I need another length of black wire. We'll go ahead and use, that's, let me see what else I have down here that might be higher gauge. Oop, 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 maybe. Buddy. I was about some nice 14 gauge black wire. Complete with a Wago connector or a ferrule on one end. Dang it. These won't work because these will only do to 18 gauge. Have to get different ones. That'll do a larger 14 gauge wire, or we just we'll do a solder joint on it. I should have stuff here that'll work on 14. Yeah, there we go. Blue ones. Hate opening it. How's it going, Pete? You say hi and then you get quiet. Need 2 blue ones. And I don't know how big to make it. It doesn't necessarily say, does it? Yeah, we'll just use the long length that I have. Can't hurt really. Always make wires shorter. And once again, this is going to go from our XT60 connector, which will wind up connecting to the battery to the speed controller. I'm going to use our heat shrink soldering connectors here with our heat gun. Get our wires in here. Side by side, we'll throw some heat on that. Try and cover up the noise some. That over there. This comes out. Set that up there so I can get this over here closer. We're going to use our little heat reflector thing so we can encapsulate this fully. Protect our other wires from some of that heat. Let that cool off a little bit before I do the other side. Measure once, cut 3 times, yep. Then got another wire and after it's too short. Exactly. Exactly. I don't know, it's like sometimes it feels like the solder doesn't actually like break down and flow really well. Like don't know if I need a different style heat gun, which is more focused. One that gets hotter, or no, just look at it and say, yeah, it actually did do a solder joint. Good. So one side down, we'll do the other side as well. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just leave this long. I could probably wrap this around like I saw them do on their diagram. So more or less get the two sets of wires at the solder joint. Melt the hell out of it with heat. Run ourselves with that. That is definitely getting hot. Yep, it's flowed. It has flowed. So next up on the fun line is with the graphics on the speed controller facing you and the thicker wires facing the rear of the racer, and me actually coming back in here and taking off the electronics cover so I can see what I'm supposed to be doing. Thicker wires, rear of racer. Okay. So rear of racer this way. Go ahead and swap the views again. Do this. Hey Jedi Spidey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Let me take this and move it over here out of the way for now. Once again, it's kind of hot, so I don't want to burn the crap out of myself. Which I know myself. Okay. So with this, sitting in here like so, this might actually be better with a overhead. This overhead cam. There we go. There we go. So I've got the whatchamacallit in here, the speed controller with the thicker wires coming towards the middle. It looks like there are a couple of zip tie points right over here that we're going to need to zip tie some things in. And yep, no zip ties. Got zip ties over here. Thicker wires facing the rear of the racer. Plug the yellow and blue wires into the black and red 550 motors. Blue to the black. Blue to the black. Okay. Yes, blue to black. Yellow to the red. Okay. Same thing on the other side here. We're going to take the blue to the black and the yellow to the red. Okay. I'm going to leave this stretched out, and I'm going to do the zip ties right there. So that's going to be the one side. So how's everything going, Jedi Spidey? Hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well. All right. Get in here and cut these zip ties. See if this is going to play nicely with me. Maybe, yes. We'll go ahead and get another set of treads going. We only have like 40 or something to go. So we've got our blue and yellow wires connected to the red and black wires on each side of our motor, and they're zip tied to the outer edge. Looks like this gets zip tied together with the wires kind of bulked up underneath. So we'll kind of do a little thing like that to hold all the wires and our speed controller together. I think that's not going to get around. I'd have to use one of my bigger ones, so. Come on. Around that, get around some wires. We're just kind of looping these we're just kind of looping the blue and white wires up underneath the board and then securing our zip ties. So we're not really securing the board itself per se anywhere. We're just trying to secure all of this together, which did not work out very well for me in that aspect. So, what's going to be a good way? Maybe if I brought these two together, and then we'll do the board. We'll figure that part out in a minute. Figure that part out in a minute. For now, that'll kind of give us a spot to hold it. Okay. Now what's next? Now we can wire up the transmitter. Reference the picture in the lower right corner for proper orientation when plugging in connectors to the transmitter. Okay. Looks like I am going to need the transmitter, at least to get the receiver out. So we'll bust into this box and get the receiver out. Is a pretty basic fly sky kit. QC. Transmitter, there's the receiver. Actually, this is Mrs. Dragon, so I'll take this out and I'll have to label this as being for her. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to have 3 of these guys there, and chances are we're going to somehow get all of the remotes mixed up between who they belong to. This can sit over there for now. Receiver. Yeah, doing good. Looking forward to Rocky Mountain, and then very shortly after Rocky Mountain, we'll come back from Rocky Mountain and we'll have our second Maker Mashup Day or Maker Meetup Day. And I will tell you this, Jedi Spidey, my plan is going to be just to be there all day long. So if you want to come early, if you're going to come out, by all means, come on out early. I will be there from pretty much noon to 7, so open to close. I plan on being there. Okay, so we homed it. Let's do IDEX copy. Scroll to the top, say print, and it will start printing yet another set of treads. All right, so we have our receiver here. We're going to need our 3-way cable. So we've got a 3-way cable here, so 3 into 1. And what are we going to be connecting? We'll need a servo splitter harness. Big Tree Tech kit provides a 3 to 1. Take the 2 steering arm servos and connect each into one of the connectors of the splitter. For the last open connector, take the black, red, white 3-wire connector from the speed controller and plug it in. Make sure the colors are the same on both sides. Rock on, because I haven't installed those yet. That'll make it fun. There's that. This is the 3 from the speed controller. Kind of pull that forward here. And white's going to the signal, red's in the middle. So that will be the 1 connector. We'll have our 2 servos that'll come in from the top that will have to be done. So we've got to do the top part first, and I don't have the servo control piece to even think about attaching that. And that still needs to get done up, so I can't really add those yet. Whoops. Black, brown wires are ground, positive is red, and signal is the white or yellow wire. Good to know. And then what do we got? We have the 3-to-1 servo splitter goes into PPM channel 1. And the signal is at the bottom here. So this is going to be PPM channel 1. Is going to be the splitter. So this side. We'll skip channel 2. Channel 3 would be the speed controller single yellow wire, this wire. That's going to come up and go into the signal port of channel 3. Okay. Next will be the weapon servo. We're not using that. And then the fan. The fan, once again, should be mounted right here and be sitting in this area. And I'm not going to be able to use the fan, or at least I'm going to have to figure out an alternative mounting location for the fan. Once again, these 2 servos are going to go to the hand arm servos up at the top. Right, and where are we shoving the receiver? There's zip tie mounts along the inside of the frame. Before cable management, plug a battery in and check to make sure everything works like it should. Speed controller will have its own power switch. Make sure it is left in the on position. Okay. And there is zero indication of on or off, other than this is towards the red wire now, so I'm assuming that's going to be on. Overdrive programming in the next section. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I need to get the top portion built out before I can continue much of this. Not sure where they're shoving this guy at. See, that one's now showing that the blue wires are over the top of the speed control. We mount, maybe this goes on the other side. That would make sense. Should be room to do that. Maybe we'll do that. Cut that. Kind of put these up on the top side. Put that down there. Receiver mounts to the bottom over here. Come on. I almost say make that go right there, but I don't think that will work with the battery pack. Yeah, so this actually does need to go into this front area here with these kind of zip tied like that. The joys of semi-cable managing stuff before it's completely done. And that kind of goes like that. That'll fall into that line. We can come through here. Maybe up through the top for some cable management. This will go to the rider, which should be coming down through the middle piece here. So rider, this will come back to the battery pack. So this is going to have to go most likely through, under, and up this way. That'll go to the rider. Again, this is the battery pack, so this will come underneath. Hitting. What are we catching on right there? Because that should be able to down. Alrighty. What's everybody else working on? Am I working on anything fun? Oh, not a problem, Von Deathheart. I was sorry I needed to jump off so quickly. Sitting there trying to answer a bunch of questions from my wife, so I needed to jump off and answer some questions. Working on beating Act 1 in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I should play a game here or there occasionally. Apparently, since everybody and their brother thinks I should be a gaming streamer. Okay, I think we can go ahead and do this because everything else will be contained on the other side. And we'll be able to attach some of that when we go to attach the other parts, and no, that's not going to work because this actually gets attached from underneath. Oh well. Probably won't be the first of the 30 times I'm taking this bottom panel off. That and quite possibly using the right size depth here or what? Yeah, there we go. Flip that up. That's pretty much going to have to slide there. This will probably have to come up like this, or do some other wire management up underneath, because if we do get a fan in here, it's going to be right in this area. you come here. There we go. That goes there. This squishes around some. That goes there. We could possibly mount this right like that. Run a wire down each side. These two have to come up here to the servos on either side. I just don't know how far down it's going to press down in here. This is going to come up to our rider and plug into our battery pack underneath. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see once we get there. What I can do is I think it's going to be dry tomorrow. I'll try, or maybe even tonight, I'm going to go out and spray paint this entire thing black. And once that's spray painted, I should be able to go ahead and at least partially mount this and see how we're going to be doing here as far as our servos and stuff. Because, yeah, the servo block comes up here. Yeah, that's going to be kind of a tight fit. These would go one on each side. I mean, there's some room for stuff, but not a whole heck of a lot. That's going to be the front of our racer right there. So if I get this spray painted all black, I should be good to go to kind of stuff all this stuff in there. And we'll have to figure out, I'll spray paint this black, I'll print the part that I need to do the servos, and we can play with servos next stream. Or not necessarily play with servos, but we'll get this all mounted with the servos and stuff and have this ready to go. We're getting there, slowly but surely. We're making progress, and that's the thing that counts, is we're making progress. A little bit at a time. Drive programming happens in the next section. Oh, hey, look, drive programming. All right. And if I can get the fan kind of mounted down in this gap zone, then I'll be good. I'm afraid of these wires somehow moving into the fan. So I'll have to do something to wire manage this stuff to keep it from sliding forward into the fan. And if I can push that fan back in there, that'll give me some yeah, that'll give me some confidence that everything's going to fit, and I can add that fan to the front, because we did do some holes in the front snout here in the mouth to allow ventilation to come through. But this is going to be the dragonfly face. Then on the back here, get that shoved back in there. We'll have our rear rider portion. We'll have our rider. We'll sit in here, right in there. And the rider's head, which is going to be a bald eagle. And we're going to have our bludger set up back here. I still need to print, like I said, a handful of parts. We need to build this piece here, but we're getting closer. We are getting closer. Now the fan, can I get this? Oh yeah, I could get a couple of pieces of VHB tape and kind of shove it in one corner over here towards the front. And that should work perfectly fine. Get it as far forward as possible. I think doing something like that, it moves it way forward in there. That'll still let us pull in air from the front snout piece here. That should give me plenty of room to plug into our receiver. But yeah, that'll work. We just won't be able to mount it where it normally would go. Cool. You ADHD one of the servos, so I've got to figure out those wires when I get home. But other than that, it will be figuring out why it's not connecting to the printer. I can't just reverse it because Z-axis. The development of this thing I've seen take place the past couple of weeks. Okay. Seems so passive and a real waste of time. Yeah, I mean, it's more of interacting with somebody while they're playing, but in this case, I don't watch streamers, well, game streamers too much. Like every once in a while I will, just to see if I would be interested in a game. But yeah, it doesn't capture my, I'll say my awareness that much. All right, so looking at, I think this can go up underneath this. Yeah, it should be able to sit up underneath there. I think we got a long enough rider. I'm just gonna have to stick the rider on there and get the top half built before I can do that. Before I can do that, I need to do some more painting. Once again, I'm gonna do the terracotta in the band, and then I'm gonna come in and do kind of a dirt brown in here, and this whole front section here is probably going to be the dirt brown as well. Going into the black side of the body half from the whatchamacallit, the dragonfly. So I'm going to have to go do some painting. I see I got a very little bit of light left. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream now so I can go and do that. I'm going to have to take it outside, spray some paint on it real fast, and then bring it back inside to dry overnight because I think it's going to get a little moist over the evening. But I think that's about where I'm at this evening, folks. You know, little steps of progress. Tomorrow night, I'm going into the office tomorrow, which is why I need to try and get some paint on this tonight. And then I'm going to go into the office, and then after that, I'm going to go in or over to Echovate for a while tomorrow. And I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow or not. I believe Mrs. Dragon is going to take off Thursday, I believe. So if she does, we'll start streaming kind of every night because why not? stream, and get stuff done. Have fun at the shop. Oh yeah. Gonna have to make a weekend trip down there. Definitely, Chewy. Definitely. But for now, let me find somebody that we can raid out to. It's a Tuesday night. Don't know who's on, but we'll see. We'll take a quick gander. The Way Cool Wood Maker Deck Polymaker's still up and running. Yep, that sounds good. Let's go raid Joel. It always throws Joel for a loop when we raid him because he's normally raiding me. So let's go ahead. Oh, ad break ends. We got an ad break going. So cancel that real fast. We'll get that started just as soon as the ad break finishes because don't want to raid you in the middle of an ad break. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. You know, if you get a chance to see me out at Rocky Mountain RepRap Festival, please come and see me. Yeah, we're gonna jump over there as soon as as soon as the ad break is done. Thanks, Jedi Spidey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody's back. Hey, everybody. Yeah, definitely. And I will say, school first, Tugboat. School first. Use me as a break, but make sure you do good on your exams. Everybody, thank you very much for being here this evening. As schizophrenic as I get sometimes, or schizoid as I'm doing this stuff, it's just the way my brain's working. But thank you guys for coming out. We'll be doing some more streaming between now and when we leave for Rocky Mountain RepRap Festival. If you're at the show, please stop by and see me. I don't yet know where my booth is going to be, but as soon as I get my table, I'll kind of try and take a picture and post it so people know where I'm going to be at. Yeah, we're bringing in lots of cool things. Not as many printers this time, but still a lot of cool things to the show. And hopefully, you get a chance to stop by and see us. So take it easy. Go with me as we raid over to Polymaker, and I will see you all next time. Bye now. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, chances are this is now after Rocky Mountain RepRap Fest when I'm releasing this. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching to the end, and I will see you guys later. If you like the content, please like and subscribe down here. Click the bell. Do all those things, and YouTube's going to suggest a new video for you over here. Thanks all. Have a good day.